Check out part 1 for why we use power wheelchairs as someone with ALS and EDS. Part 2, deciding factors on needing a power chair and the process to begin using one. So I want to talk about what was the process of actually getting our wheelchairs as chronically ill and ambulatory people.
Yes.
Because I think that a lot of people think that they have to wait for a doctor to prescribe them with the chair. But there's actually a few different ways to, you know, navigate the situation, and there's a lot of details that people just are unfamiliar with and like don't even know how to like ask. So what was your process like? How did you bring it up to your doctor, like the possibility, or like, or did you even talk to a doctor before trying to get one? Like, what was your process with that?
So the memory on that is a little hazy because it happened when I was around like 18 years old. I'm 32 now, so that's some years ago. But I do remember working with the school nurse at my high school, and she was actually the one who recommended that I at least try it when we went on our, I don't know, because you're from Florida, right? Okay, so in California, I don't know if they still do it, but at the time, all the seniors from high school would take a road trip to Disneyland, and we would have Disneyland to ourselves, like for one whole night all these high school seniors.
Oh yeah, like grad night.
Yeah, grad night Disney. Okay, so you guys do have grad night. Okay, so grad night Disneyland. So she was just like, use the chair because Disneyland is massive. So she was like, use the chair, test it out, see if this is something that you think you would like when you move to LA. So I was like, okay, cool. And so I first test drove the chair during grad night Disneyland, turned up. It was like the best thing ever in life because I was like, oh my God, I can go this fast. Finally. And so I just felt really, really liberated. And then of course, you know, because my friends, we don't know how to act. They were on the back of the chair. We were turning up. We were hitting donuts. It was like a whole, it was a whole thing. And so then after that, I explained to her, I was like, yo, this is something I'm definitely going to need. And so, if I remember correctly, my mom and I, with the recommendation from the school nurse, you know, went to our doctor and just pretty much said like, we need to get Lauren a wheelchair in Southern California, like insurance, like what's up, like hook her up kind of thing. And then next thing I know, I got my wheelchair and moved to LA, and then I've had a wheelchair ever since. And so pretty much what from my understanding is, and this is what my current insurance is, that insurance will cover like the expenses of repairs and buying a new one and all that stuff for one motorized wheelchair. And so once your chair is at the point of like, okay, you're gonna need a new one, because it's just like a car or any other device that like over time will break down, you just got to get a new one. Then that's when you just go to the insurance. You don't even have to deal with the doctor anymore. You may need a doctor's note to say like, hey, she does still need a wheelchair, but that's about it. And then insurance will cover a majority of the cost. At least my current insurance covered the majority of the cost, and then they'll bring you a new chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of these journeys are so different because like that's nothing like what I like.
Yeah, and you can consult with a wheelchair repair company. Like some of the popular ones in Southern California is New Motion is one. Another one is National Seating and Mobility. So between those two, like, so you consult with them, and then they ask like, okay, now that you're at this stage in your life, do you need a chair that tilts? Do you need a chair, you know, that, you know, spins around? Do you need this? Do you need that? And whatever features you need, they'll get you that for your chair. And then insurance will cover a majority of whatever that cost is. And then, you know, you just pay the rest, and then you just have your chair. That's my personal experience.
Yeah.
And I know it's not that for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
a lot of people do share that experience.
Yeah.
Where like the medical system is helpful.
Yeah. Well, in certain cases.
Yeah.
If we get into other realms of stuff, then that when you need your chair repaired for any reason, that's when the drama starts. For me personally.
Right.
That's where the drama is like, okay, y'all about to really make me mad.
Okay, so for me, I felt like, so I spent a lot of time undiagnosed, but still like losing abilities.
Interesting.
Like I was, so this is degenerative, right? It's expected to kind of get worse.
Yeah, that's exactly what ALS
I was
is
like, what? I don't know, like the appropriate language, but like, you know, decline. A health. It's expected that the health stability declines.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time like pushing my pain limits. I kind of lived for a long time with the assumption that everybody was just in pain and I was just like weak. Like,
interesting.
Like I was like, everybody else already learned how to handle, like, so my interpretation was similar to like women in heels. So like women would always complain about being in pain while wearing heels. And so I thought it was normal to be in pain all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then like so I just thought, I'm just a weak person who hasn't learned how to endure heels like everyone else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really. So wait, when did your symptoms
It's a Twilight
start?
Zone situation.
Yeah. When did your symptoms start?
So I've always had like very acute symptoms throughout my life. Like, obviously like running laps in PE would trigger my symptoms. I would get dizzy and like faint sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and people would just think like you're out of shape, right? Because I was a chubby child, so so they would like always. Oh,
that was always the assumption.
So they would never thought you're sick. You're just fat phobic stuff. Like you're out of shape, and that's why you suffer when you exercise, right?
Damn.
Like,
Okay. Yeah.
And so like no one ever thought I should see a doctor. I would have like asthma attacks that like my mom like. We also, I think it's cultural. Like I don't. It's poverty culture. And like Latino culture, like if you're not dying, you're not going to the hospital. Yeah. Like
that's Black culture.
We're just gonna fix it. It's just it's honestly a lot of cultures that like don't have money to see a doctor.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
So like we would always just try to like mend things. My mom exhibits a lot of symptoms too, and because she would like, I remember growing up and like always seeing her wrist in a brace. Like, so she would wear braces all the time and stuff. Like, so she's like, we'll just fix it. She was a person that like when I would take hot showers, because I get heat intolerance too. The heat affects the way my blood moves and also makes me pass out. So like, I would tell my mom after like a hot shower, I'm like, Mom, I'm losing my vision, I'm fainting, what's going on? Like as a kid, like 9 years old. And because that's what happens when you pass out. Like the first thing that goes is your eyesight, and you're like, what is happening? And my mom's like, oh, you're just passing out, is fine. Put your head between your knees, put an ice bag on your head. It happens to me all the time, is what she said.
I see.
I was like, oh my God.
I see. Yeah, because see, I asked why you would assume that everyone would be in pain, because me not knowing at what age it started, because for me I was 14, so when my body went left, I knew it was going left. Versus you
I lived with it my entire life.
You assuming that, oh, the world is like this. You know what I mean? So okay, so that's, I'm sorry, that's
like, because I always saw like media representation of like people like leaving work and having to put their feet in hot water, you know, like the waitresses always have to put their feet in hot water after work, and like, and so many movies are like, women are like, I have to take off my shoes after I leave the club or whatever, they're so painful. I'm like, oh, everybody's in pain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, that's like right now. Okay.
Because pain, especially for women, is so normalized.
Yeah, that's a fact.
There's even like a phrase like pain is beauty, right?
Yeah, no pain, no gain, all of that stuff. Yeah.
I just got like angry feeling.
Yeah, beauty is pain. Yeah. No.
So let's circle back.
Sorry.
Like, no, don't worry. I love it. So, okay, so let's circle back. Like, no, don't worry. I love it. So, when I finally got to start seeing doctors about it, about like being like, hey, so all of a sudden, because it was gradual, I was just like thinking that I was a weak person.
Yeah.
But like I was at a job where I had to wear heels for work, and I would be standing for like 8 hours a day. And then I was like, I eventually had to tell my boss, I was like, dude, I cannot wear heels anymore. Please, like, let me wear boots to work. Like, I'll bring nice boots.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, okay, fine. So I wore boots thinking that my problem was, like I said, I'm too weak for heels. I haven't learned how to endure them like all other people who wear heels. So I was just like, it's just the heels.
Yeah.
The heels are what's painful.
Right.
And so then I started using boots, and my ability to stand just kept declining anyway. So like it would, tap me out, the pain is too much point would decrease from like, eventually 7 hours I'd be like, dude, I can't, I need a chair. I can't stand up anymore. The pain is too much. And gradually decrease until my standing limit was just like maybe 5 minutes before I couldn't take the pain anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, whoops, gotta see the doctor now.
Yeah.
Saw doctors, and for like 3 years, they like gaslit me and told me that nothing was wrong with me and that I was either crazy or exaggerating. I was saying symptoms that were impossible, and like, I don't know. I have a whole video on that. I'll link it around here.
Yeah.
Like the whole diagnosis journey.
Yeah.
And so then when doctors wouldn't help me, I felt very much like in the wilderness with like what my body was going through.
Yeah.
And again, the mentality was like, we have to take it upon ourselves to try and like fix our shit ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like
especially if a doctor is telling you there's nothing wrong.
Yeah. Like, you know, like my mom buys wrist braces from Walgreens for her wrist, like, you know, stuff like that. Like all my braces are like from the drugstore or from like a website. Like they're not prescribed because like it's actually kind of cheaper that way because people buy braces like for sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So to like help them endure longer in the gym.
Yeah.
So when able people buy things, they're cheaper.
That's a fact.
So all my braces are like from drugstores and stuff. I also bought my first cane from a drugstore, and on my own, I was like, I know that if I want to go out with my friends, I need help. Right? So like, I used a cane like a mountain climbing stick. Like I would spike it into the ground and like pull myself forward because my problem was pain. So I'm just using the cane for support to like keep me moving forward.
Got you. So painkillers wasn't something that you thought of to use first before using equipment?
Well, like painkillers like Tylenol and stuff like never worked on me. That's an EDS thing too.
Got it.
Our collagen doesn't like process, and we don't, not even local anesthesia. Like that's another like story there too, where like so I eventually the reason I even fully started using a wheelchair, I remember I went to like Target one time with a wheelchair because like I couldn't shop, and my uncle got me like, or loaned me a wheelchair that he doesn't use anymore because he had an operation.
Got it.
So I used that chair one time in Target, like very like here and there, very rarely. Then I had an operation on my leg because they thought that they misdiagnosed me with like flat feet and tried to correct that with an operation. And ultimately through that operation,
you felt everything?
I woke up and was screaming, like, because I could feel everything. And then even though the recovery process was supposed to be just 3 months, and then the doctor was like, oh, you'll be able to walk just fine after 3 months, there was like open nerve damage, and like, so just contact, not even pressure, contact with the floor was like this electrocuting kind of pain. And so I couldn't even touch the floor for 6 months. And the doctor was like, so I don't know why you're in pain, but let's just see if you can walk on it. So I want to like inject local anesthesia to see if we can numb your foot, so then you don't feel your foot, and let's see how you walk on it. How are the bones moving? This doctor took like an hour putting like 16 injections of anesthesia into my foot because it wouldn't take. Like my foot would not go numb.
Like, I feel like at a certain point as a doctor, you should realize, okay, something ain't right. Something's doing something different.
He had no idea what that meant. Like, he had no idea. He'd never seen this before in his life.
Okay.
So, like...
I mean, but still, like, come on.
It's very frustrating for me. I was still undiagnosed at the time.
Right.
And, like, I had to do my own research. And
holy shit.
And it was also... So, well, the point being, right, that so it was this operation that made me start using a wheelchair full time. Like I said, I couldn't make contact with the floor at all without experiencing, like,
pain.
Torturous, horrifying levels of pain.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have weakness and pain in both my legs, so I couldn't do the thing where, like, people use crutches, keep using one leg and the other, so, like, because one leg on its own doesn't have enough strength to hold me up.
Gotcha.
So it's like I have to use a wheelchair.
Gotcha.
And then I used the wheelchair for like 6 months, eventually through my own determination, which, like, you know, no pressure on anybody else to like push yourself to this extent, but I, like, kind of shoved my foot into the ground, like, in trying to, again, like, push my endurance with the pain and, like, like, reteach myself how to walk. And I had to do this on my own because, like, medicine just, like, wasn't helping me, and it was very expensive.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and, like, I feel I'm, like, a person that's totally in the wilderness with my condition. Just, like, I have to figure out how to do everything myself.
Yeah.
And eventually, again, without diagnosis, my abilities kept decreasing. Eventually, the joints in my arms, I couldn't push myself on a manual wheelchair anymore. I was doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
So my shoulders would, like, dislocate when I would push my wheelchair. I was like,
wowzers.
So now I can't even use a manual chair anymore.
God.
And I'm not diagnosed yet. So
without
a diagnosis,
you can't get
a prescribed wheelchair.
Exactly.
So I had to, out of pocket, like, raise the money to get my power chair. And
this was only like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. Like, I finally got my diagnosis, and along with my diagnosis, the doctor agreed that I needed a power chair.
Yeah.
And prescribed me with a power chair.
Yeah.
But so that's why I want to emphasize, like, if you're a person where, like, medicine is not being helpful to you,
yeah,
it's not worth it to suffer and isolate yourself waiting for them to help you.
Exactly.
You are allowed to take it into your own hands.
Exactly.
And it is a risk. Some people are like, don't risk your body without the help of a doctor or whatever. And it's like, but they
only know so much at the end of the day too.
You know your body best.
Right.
You know, and you should trust yourself with the decision for how you're going to live your best life.
Right.
And I knew that without a power chair, that meant that all I could really do was be in bed all day. I couldn't go out with my friends. I couldn't leave my house.
Yeah.
And it was very isolating. It wasn't mentally healthy for myself.
Right.
I was, like, getting really depressed. It felt like a jail cell. And sometimes it still does. Because chronic illness. Now I have a power chair, but chronic illness itself will still keep me in bed and keep me isolated.
Right.
So it's still like that, but at least I have somewhat of an option to get out of the house. When I was wheelchairless, when I lost the ability in my upper body to push the manual chair, I was, like, just stuck in my bed in my room for, like, a year.
Wow.
Yikes.
Yikes. You know what's so interesting that I find about that, which is, mine wasn't as extreme, but I do remember, like, you know, in middle school playing, like, street hockey and my legs literally feeling like noodles afterwards, like, oh my gosh, I need to sit down or else I can't freaking function. But I'm just so interested all the time, like, with people like ourselves during that period where we're not diagnosed and we're trying to figure out if there was just enough professional support earlier, how much more preserved our bodies could be at this point.
I think about that all the time.
You know what I mean? Like, like, I'm just listening to what you're saying. I'm like, yo, if they would have caught this, like, when you were, sorry, excuse my language. I don't know if you curse on your channel. I do it all the time. So that's my bad, y'all. But I think about, like, what if someone really paid attention to what you were going through, like, in middle school? What your body could still be
stabilized earlier.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's exactly what you're saying. Is just like advocating for yourself. And now I'm one of those people where, like, I don't care if I got a cough that sound different. I'm gonna go to the doctor and be like, excuse me, my cough sound different. Y'all better tell me what the hell is going on. Like, you know what I mean? So I just feel like exactly what you're saying is, like, people need to advocate for themselves, because we know in our, like, spirits, in our energies, like, just something just ain't right. Right, normal, whatever word you want to use, something just isn't the same.
Right.
And we need to go in there and really fight and advocate for ourselves. And if one doctor isn't listening, then try another one and see what happens. Look some stuff up online and just see what happens after that.
We're coming into a scary time right now, actually, where, like, they're starting to create a policy where doctor shopping will be nipped in the bud. Like,
really?
And yeah, they're like, because again, there's like a drug scare. They're like, oh, people are like doctor shopping in order to get / abuse drugs. And so, like, it's reaching a point where, like, you're gonna get kind of like what's the word, exiled in the medical industry a bit. And I'm like, y'all just want us to die.
Yeah,
you want us to die.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's like really what it is. Like, if they can't get every single penny out of us, then they're just like, fuck it, just let them die off in a corner and, like, not even care. And that's the thing, is that's how
real
you
dark.
yeah, that's how you know. But that's how you know that the people who are creating these policies are not involved with people with disabilities. Because even, you know, since this whole thing is about wheelchair and wheelchair maintenance, how we use each other, all that stuff, you know that by just the process of getting your wheelchair repaired. I talked about this on my channel once, and if something extreme happened to your chair, like, let's say, you know, a shock broke, or, you know, the wheel busted in some kind of way or whatever. I mean, I go hard in my chair, so I do real damage. But something like that happens, they're like, oh, okay, well, it's gonna take 6 to 8 weeks to fix.
Nope.
6 to 8 weeks?
Nope.
What am I supposed to go in 6 to 8 weeks? So you expect, like, cut it out. Like, I get in my chair in order to open up the oven to cook for myself. I use my chair when I'm dropping something. I use my chair to leave the freaking front door. Like, I use my chair just in case I do lose my balance and fall, because I live on my own, I need to get to my chair in order to boost myself up, in order to, like, move around. Like, I use my chair even within my home, even though I am able to walk around and, you know, move around on my own too. So it's like, y'all expect 6, and I work 6 to 8 weeks without my chair? Y'all got me messed up. Y'all got me messed up.
Right. Like,
and that's the thing, that's like, how do you just tell somebody who uses a wheelchair, yeah, sorry, but, like, it's bad for you for 6 to 8 weeks, and just, like, be like, okay, well, see you later. And then when you're following up with them, like, oh, did you place the order for my part? Did you do this? Did you do this? They're like, literally one time she was like, oh, it's been sitting on such and such's desk instead. I'm like, yo, that was 2 weeks ago when you guys came. Now I still have to wait another 6 to 8 weeks. Y'all got me messed up. So that's kind of like what you're saying, is like with the doctor hopping.
Yeah.
Is like, they're nipping it in the bud, but they really don't realize, like, people,
we have to.
Yeah, like, we have to,
because a lot of doctors, like, are not familiar with our condition, or, like, they're too busy with something to, like, acknowledge what's going on with our bodies.
Exactly.
And, like,
or because they don't know the answer, they just say you're fine.
Yeah.
Or it's something else. When it's just like, just admit you don't know the answer and recommend me to somebody that you think might know the answer.
Right.
Like, cut it out.
Yep. And
you know
that's
what I mean?
why, and that's why, like, full circle back, like, so right now, currently, you're getting a decent amount of support medically. Like I said, so on the opposite side of the spectrum, so, because, like, just so that you guys feel like some solidarity with either one of us.
Right.
Like, I have a lot of difficulty with the medical system, like in terms of like of being able to afford an appointment with a specialist. And like at this point, like I said, I spent 3 years like essentially knowing what I had and just like begging doctors to test me for it, and they were mistreating me and gaslighting me the entire time. So it became psychologically traumatic because I'm also an abuse survivor, and there was gaslighting in my abuse trauma. And so when doctors did that to me, when doctors tried to make me feel crazy, I was like, this is terrible. So now I have horrible anxiety, psychological anxiety about going to the doctor, plus having to find the money to go. So that's why, like, in my experience, like I just have to try and figure everything out myself. Like if I need a lumbar support, I gotta find the money. I'd rather try to find the money, this is personal to me, but I'd rather try to find the money to, like, you know, make myself as comfortable as I can and help myself as much as I can to like do the things that I want to do the things that I have to do, using the tools that I can find on my own, versus like paying $400 for one appointment with one doctor that's just gonna tell me whatever, give me the money, bye.
Exactly. Oh, it's just a little pain, girl, you'll be fine.
So it's tough. We're like, ooh, but we're veering off to a different topic.
Sorry, we've done that at least 5 times. I don't know how this is gonna get
blinking
edited.
Hold on. Okay. So, oh my god, obviously we love talking to each other, so we're gonna continue this on Lolo's channel. So please go check it out. I will leave a link in the description, also up here somewhere. And we already discussed where people can find you. Yes. So on Instagram, it's at It's Lolo Love, ITSLO. Oh, I'll just spell it. I'll just write it.
Okay, okay, there we go. So at It's Lolo Love, and then on YouTube, find me at Sitting Pretty. Yay! Okay, all right. So please go check out Lolo's channel and our video on her channel, and I will see you eventually. Hey. Bye. Peace.